PathMonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add PathMonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Drew from Kumo Space, head of marketing with them. How you doing today, Drew?
I'm good. I'm here in snowy New York.
Oh man, don't want to, throw a little bit of envy on you, but I'm in a beautiful beach down in the south. We're hitting mid 70s today, so a little bit different of a climate down here.
I'm fortunately a big skier, so it's exciting, and it's just at that moment of time when it's snowing in New York and it's like fresh for those like few hours before it becomes a sloppy mess. So right now it looks beautiful.
All right, awesome. Hey, well, it's great to have you on today's show. And well, then let's give our listeners, while they're tuning in, let's talk about Kumo Space, right? In your own words, can you tell us a little bit more, Drew?
Yeah, so Kumo Space is a unified communication platform for remote and distributed teams. So if you think about the challenges that are facing most companies today, their employees are siloed, and their communications are often quite fragmented. So you might have communications happening in Zoom, in email, in Slack, but then information doesn't live anywhere. So we have a product that helps solve those kind of challenges that most companies are facing today. It's some combination of lack of collaboration, lack of culture, employee engagement, and lack of kind of accessibility, availability, what's happening in the company.
Definitely. And so that way our listeners can get a good understanding of your company. Then if you could sum it up in one or two key problems that you solve for clients, what would they be?
Yeah. So, if you're running a remote or distributor or even hybrid team today, you probably have team members that are very productive, doing individual, IC work. As soon as that work gets into doing cross-departmental work, projects get really slowed down. So the average user of Kumo Space sees about a 30% boost to productivity. Average meeting times go down to about 9 minutes. And then some tertiary benefits is typically cost savings, and you see higher employee engagement.
Definitely. All right. Awesome. So then who would you say are your clients? Is there a vertical segment that you guys like to focus on?
So it's kind of uniquely difficult for Kumo Space to define a very singular ICP. Our customers range from everywhere from, healthcare startups to small businesses that have been around for 20, 30 years to Fortune 500s to governmental agencies. Any company that today uses Zoom or Slack, is a fair ICP for us. So it's hard to individualize that as, hey, these are only specific type of buyer, which does make a challenge for marketing. But also makes an exciting opportunity for the business because we're addressing a very large market.
Definitely. And would you say, this could be from small businesses to say from 5, 10, 15 employees to 100 to 500?
Yeah. So I would say, our pricing tier starts at $5. Everything below that is free. Really, to get strong value out of the product, you need a team to typically be a little larger than 5, around 10 users. Being in there kind of simultaneously using it. Think about if you were to use Slack by yourself or with one other person, it wouldn't be particularly valuable or productive. It's a similar kind of thing. And then, as I said, we have customers that are all the way up to some of the largest companies in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And so how does someone typically find out about you guys? What would you say is the top client acquisition channel there for Kumo Space?
Yeah, so we have a unique challenge as a business. This is the 7th business I've helped build in some capacity. I'm the 2nd employee here. My career has always been in the startup space, focused on kind of the business side. And For us, the challenge is that we are in a bit of a category creation. We don't make traditional video conferencing and we don't make traditional team chat. We make a product that combines those two, but the user isn't quite looking for that product because they don't even know it exists, but they're looking to solve those problems. So as a result, our customer acquisition kind of breaks down into thirds. A third of that is about organic search. So people looking to increase employee engagement, increase collaboration between remote team members. Another is influencer marketing. We do performance structures. They're very successful. If you go out there and look on the internet, you'll find a lot of TikTok and Instagram reels of people using Kumo Space. And then kind of the last piece is word of mouth. So it's some combination of those two prior ones, as well as things like today, our team, speaks at conferences, appears on podcasts, and goes on TV.
Right. Awesome. Great to hear that. And while I am here on the website, so our listeners could go check you guys out, it's kumospace.com. What role does the website play for your client acquisition? Great. I could start from the top. I have an editing team, so
okay, good.
Not this off, no worries. All right. So Drew, I am here on the website. For our listeners, you can check it out at kumospace.com. What role does the website play for your client acquisition?
It's 100% of our client acquisition. So our business is entirely driven by inbound. So it's very important asset for us.
All right, perfect, awesome. And would there be any tools, methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some lead generation?
Yeah, so we've been very successful in scaling content and SEO. We've been very successful with influencer marketing, as I mentioned before, as well as public appearances and speaking. My career has kind of taken me through every facet of marketing. I've helped build startups across 3 continents now and a slew of different verticals. So I've tried everything. And what my advice would be is that some tactics are going to work for one business and will not work for another. So be very open to trying a lot of tactics, invest in testing them and seeing what the ROI of those tactics look like, and then double down on the ones that are successful.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Now, well, let's switch it up a little bit and let's talk about you as a leader. You being the head of marketing there for Kumo Space. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
So right now we're in the new year. So it's a lot of finishing up 2024 planning. That all the planning was finished in Q4. But now in Q1, it's really putting that rubber to the road. And the core thing that I do is, one, figure out how to continue to scale those channels that work for us, right? How do we make those processes more efficient? How do I get more support for the people doing that work? How can we automate that work? And then the second piece is trying to figure out what new channels we can unlock. So that's pretty much my day-to-day right now.
Definitely head of marketing, right? That's all it's about, getting those new channels to get implemented. Awesome. Great to hear that from you, Drew. Well, let's jump to our next section, which is our rapid fire question round. So are you ready for the questions, Drew?
Yeah, of course.
All right. First off, what is the last book that you read?
So I'm not a particularly large reader of books, I should say. I have ADHD, so this is both a double-edged sword. It makes me quite impatient and interested in a slew of new things, which helps me in marketing, but also at the same time, it's hard for me to read like a 300-page book. So I end up reading a lot of short-form content. And then what I would say my favorite book is probably going to be The Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. I think it's a great story of just showing how when you're running a business, you need to constantly overcome challenges. And you need to be testing and iterating and figuring out what those things are that will make you succeed.
Definitely. All right. Great to hear that from you. Now, what is one single thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
I wouldn't say there's anything singularly from a marketing perspective. It's those 3, it's really those 2 channels. The that I was describing, influencer and content marketing, that is a singular focus for us right now. And then as a holistically as the company, we're just focused on continuing to expand our product features and just making it a better and better replacement for Slack and Zoom.
Okay, perfect. And next up is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I think data is just such an important thing to have as a head of marketing or someone who is a data-driven marketer, but it can be particularly challenging. So if there was some way to automate basically a team of data scientists, that would be very exciting to me.
Okay, interesting. That's great to hear. Now, if there was one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
I would say my superpower is trying to figure out how to build a process and then continue to improve upon that process. So right now at Kumo Space today, I'd say a lot of things are pretty automated, or at least pieces of them have been outsourced and or automated. The one thing I wish I could get better at is we spend a lot of time prospecting people on TikTok and Instagram to work with. And this is particularly like a human driven activity, and just AI isn't quite there yet. You need to be able to, there's nuance to it. So I would love to see this get solved. I know there's a lot of companies trying to do it, but no one succeeded at it. So hopefully someone will figure it out soon.
All right. 2023 was big in AI. We'll see what 2024 has in store for us, right? Definitely.
Exactly.
Lastly, Drew, like you mentioned, you do have a lot of experience already within the marketing world. But what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I think the advice to myself and anyone listening is really that marketing is a contact sport, and it's very competitive. And in order to succeed, I think you should think about it through that lens. I think there's different facets of marketing. You can think on kind of the more soft skill marketing. You're going to have brand and design marketing. As you kind of get to more KPI driven marketing, you have demand gen and growth marketing. And what I've been doing lately is something that I kind of call war marketing, which is where you apply the principles of corporate strategy. So you're not only trying to grow your pie, but you're also trying to shrink your competitor's pie. And if you think about something, if you've ever watched the show Drive to Survive on Netflix, which is about Formula One, they're all working within inside of the same playbook there. But every member of those teams, even the drivers on the same team, are looking for an unfair competitive advantage to beat their competitor. So you as a marketer need to keep that in mind and understand that you succeeding, you need to use everything at your disposal to do so.
Definitely some great advice there from Drew. Thanks a lot for that advice, Drew. And well, Drew, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about Kumo Space?
Well, just like WeWork took everyone and had them walk around their actual physical space and see real people working. If you want to demo Kumo Space and you want to meet me in person, just go to our website, click the schedule a demo button, and we do all of our demos inside of our virtual HQ. So you can actually see our team working there, our engineers building the product, and myself and the other marketers marketing it.
That's awesome. Like you mentioned, check them out at kumospace.com. For our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Looking forward to our next episode at PathMonk Presents. Drew, thanks a lot for being on this episode.
Thank you.